Hello, everyone. My name is Chenny Xia. I'm the co-founder of Got Care, a home health company with 13,000 frontline workers across the country, providing care for less while paying workers more. As a SheEO activator and a venture, the SheEO community is truly my family. It's a place where I feel like I can show up authentically and fully as myself. For example, instead of justifying why I want to work on the world's to-do list, I am lifted up by women who share the same values, power with instead of power over. So with that, one of the things that we love to do is we love to do a land acknowledgement as a part of reconciliation with our past. And so with that, I would like to invite Tanya Chang for today's land acknowledgement. Tanya, over to you.
Thanks so much, Chenny. Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Chang. I'm a SheEO activator, and it is an honor to share our land acknowledgement today. I acknowledge that I am situated on the unceded territory of the Mi'kmaq and the Wabanaki Confederacy, otherwise known as Tantallon, which is just outside of Halifax, Nova Scotia, Canada. This land is actually a new home for me. I just moved here 3 weeks ago from Toronto. And as I settle here, I recognize that the land surrounding me has been the site of an ongoing conflict surrounding lobster fishery. And this conflict between Mi'kmaq and non-Indigenous fishers has really led to a lot of violent and racist backlash towards Mi'kmaq First Nations people. And so I am committed, as someone who is new to this land, to rooting myself in its history and to understanding the treaties that govern this land, especially the treaty rights to fish and to moderate livelihood. And this is just one of the ways that I commit to acting in reconciliation and in solidarity with Indigenous peoples. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Tanya. That was beautiful. All right, so for today, we have a very special call. We wanted to bring together this amazing community from all around the world to celebrate International Women's Entrepreneurship Day. So we have women who signed up from Canada, the US, New Zealand, Australia, Singapore, Togo, Mexico, Hong Kong, and more. And most importantly, thank you to all of you, our activators, ventures, and guests for being here with us today. And a very warm welcome and thank you to the Honourable Mary Ng for joining, Canada's Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion and International Trade. So for today's call, what we're going to do is we're going to hear a bit of an overview of SheEO from Vicky herself, and then we're going to hear from the Honourable Mary Ng and SheEO Venture VA Linker in conversation with Vicky, and then we will move into the infamous Ask Give breakouts. Don't worry, if this is your first time, we will provide a little bit more context later. So to start off, one of the things that we also love to do at SheEO is we like to do a one-word check-in. So Caitlin is just about to share a link in the chat with you. And so what you want to do is you want to click on that link and just enter in one word based on this question. So the question is, how are you feeling right now? How are you doing today? And as you type in that word, we'll see this lovely word cloud populate. And as you can see, the bigger words represent that there are more people who feel that way. So it looks like there's a lot of excitement and a lot of energy. We are feeling grateful today, happy, hopeful. Oh, amazing. I love the energy that we're seeing here. And just a reminder for everyone as well, for those who may have just joined, to update your Zoom name, to add a V for venture, A for activator, and G for guest. You can see my name here as an example. I have a V and A for venture and activator, and also just a couple initials signaling your country as well. So wherever you are, Canada, US, and abroad. And also, just a quick reminder, and with that, I want to pass it off to Vicky Saunders, founder of SheEO, who will be sharing the overview of SheEO, the impact, and the community. Over to you, Vicky.
Mike.
Yeah, we can't hear you.
Vicky, you may be on mute.
I had such a good start. You didn't hear all that? Hi, everyone. The classic you're on mute start to the call. Hi, I'm Vicky. I'm the founder of SheEO, and I was just saying that I've been having a dance party by myself for the last half hour, celebrating International Women's Entrepreneurship Day, which is a thing now in the world. Very excited about that. I'm here to give just a quick overview about SheEO, and then we're going to have a little conversation with the minister and then go to breakout rooms. So I want to start by sharing our credo. For those of you who are new, we operate very differently at SheEO. And if you could just sort of listen to this, maybe close your eyes as I read through, this is how we operate and this is what we invite you into. At SheEO, we practice radical generosity, which we believe is core to creating a new model and a better world. We have all that we need in this network to reach our potential. If you need something here, please ask. If you have something to give, please offer it. We recognize that everyone here is at different stages and ages, and we come from different experiences, and we believe that that is actually creates a lot of richness. We're here with our sleeves rolled up, ready to help one another. We are very action-oriented. We are not talk, we are action. This is a co-created environment built on trust. We're creating a safe space for women to thrive on their own terms. We take our time, sometimes, and we consider the future. We celebrate and embolden each other. We amplify each other's voices, and we own our greatness. So this is how, when you become an activator at SheEO, you click to say, I'm in with this kind of approach. The next thing I wanted to say about SheEO is, and the time that we're in right now, we are really between worlds. The old world that we have been following models for many years is starting to sort of die away. We can see it right now. So many structures and systems are not working for us anymore, and the new world isn't quite here. And in order to get to the new world that works better for all of us, we need to really use our imagination. And so on your journey with SheEO, imagination is absolutely critical because we do things very differently, and you have to suspend your disbelief to see these new ways forward. And so this is how we start. We have an ecosystem-based approach at SheEO. Money is one thing that we're here to fund women entrepreneurs who are working on the world's to-do list, but we're here as customers because that also has as much impact, becoming customers of these ventures and using our influence to help all these ventures, coming in with advice if we have it, with coaches and a global network across 5 countries at the moment. All of these elements are critically important to our contribution to creating a better world. And the results are speaking for themselves. We have an amazing payback rate. We have thousands of activators across 5 countries. We have a portfolio of 73 women-led, majority woman-owned ventures around the world. By the end of Q1 next year, we're going to be close to 100 ventures funded, the largest portfolio of women working on the world's to-do list in the world, and it all started in Canada. This is the cohort from the US and Canada last year. You can see Chenny in there, who you saw earlier. Our first goal is get to 1 million activators. And we believe that 1 million radically generous women walking the earth, working on the world's to-do list, will change literally everything. And you start to feel this spirit in our community. The first thing you're gonna experience in the rooms is, how can we help? We are all here with our sleeves rolled up, ready to help one another. Money is part of this, but 1 million women acting differently towards each other, lifting each other up, will really change everything. And so given the state of the planet right now, we believe we have everything we need to transform ourselves and our systems. And starting with ourselves is first, and then working towards systems. So thank you very much for being here for the start of this. I'm now, is the minister here with us? Mary, are you out there somewhere? Can you unmute?
Hi, Vic, I'm here.
Awesome, welcome. Oh, look at
Hi.
this.
Oh, it is, hi. Well, and I am actually in Ottawa. I'm in Parliament Hill. I'm on house duty, and for those of you who don't know what house duty is, it means that I'm here in Parliament, but as parliamentary debates occur, those who are on house duty sort of stay in the building so that we can go into Parliament as we need to. So I'm actually really in Ottawa with all of you. Yeah,
awesome.
The nation's capital.
All right, so I'm going to ask you a question in just a sec, but before we do, I want you to hear from 2 of our activators. Monica Bradley, if we could start with you, joining us from Australia. Monica, what's it like to be an activator for you?
Hi, my name is Monica Bradley. I come from the unceded land of the Yagara and the Turrbal people here in Brisbane, Australia. And I'm in as an activator because for 30 years of my corporate career in 5 countries around the world, I tried to redesign around patriarchy and it exhausted me. I met Vicky 4.5 years ago and it was like finding a kindred spirit. We'd circled the earth in venture capital, in funding businesses and trying to change the world from the inside out, and it wasn't working. SheEO in Australia is the fastest growing movement of women of anything we're doing here. And we are when we redesign for women, we redesign better for all. And that's the only thing I need to support. So thank you, Mary. Thank you for your courage in supporting Vicky. Thank you, Vicky, for having the idea. And thank you to all of you for sharing it and making it such an awesome global movement. Thank you.
Thanks, Monica. And one more person we'd like to hear from before we go over to the minister is Tira Fraser. Some of you may have noticed a big, huge article in the newspaper this week, Tira Fraser, for being the first Indigenous woman-owned airline in Canada and maybe in the world. Tira, what has being an activator meant to you?
Great, thank you so much. So thrilled to be here. So I am a SheEO activator because together, and actually together, we are rematriating and decolonizing business. We are co-creating the conditions for racialized change makers to thrive. We're normalizing practices of collective belonging, and we're liberating humans and systems. And we're doing that together. And that is why I'm an activator.
Thanks, Tira. All right. So Minister, you took a very innovative approach to supporting women's economic development, this ecosystem-based approach. I don't think it's happening anywhere else in the world. Could you tell us how it's going?
Well, I think it's going great. And why do I think it's going great? Because I see all of you here. It is remarkable. Just a bit of a context. I mean, I said that I'm here in Ottawa and in Parliament. And a little earlier, of course, I was downstairs and I work on a team, and that team is led by a Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. And I sit on an executive, like essentially in a cabinet, where 50 of, where half of us are women and the other half of us are men. So to be able to have the opportunity to lead Canada's first ever women's entrepreneurship strategy is truly remarkable. And here's, I mean, it isn't just the right thing to do. It is going to yield benefits for our country. I believe it's also going to yield benefits to the world. I mean, SheEO is working with all of you and so many others to tackle the world's to-do list. And it's about taking a different approach to deal with what is really a wonderful opportunity. And this strategy is a $5 billion investment. And what am I going to get, and what is this country going to get? We're going to get another $150 billion to Canada's economy. But those are just numbers, because what are we really going to get? We're going to get women leaders. All of you is in each of you, you're representing something, because there's a whole lot of other women who are going to look at you and say, gosh, that's, to see her is to be her. And that's what you're doing. And to create an ecosystem all across this country, all working together towards one thing. And what's the one thing? Helping our women-owned businesses and our women entrepreneurs find that path to success. And so it's truly remarkable to be able to do this.
Thank you, Minister. So B, I want to ask you, how has this ecosystem-based approach on your own terms changed things for you in your journey?
First of all, it's amazing to be here with a whole group of people. It's like so much energy. This ecosystem is for the first time in my life that I feel that I'm not crazy. When you do business in a different way and use your business as a force for good, as we say, as B Corps as well, is that I use my business to have an impact on building a world that I like to live in, rather than the world that I see outside. And in the traditional way of doing business, investors necessarily, or investors, if you need money, you grow the company. Investors tell you like, oh, what's your problem? How you're solving that? We'd like you to take a little bit more risk, to bootstrap a little bit harder, and maybe you should focus. And in my case, I heard a lot of times like, why don't you hire a real engineer to help you do this? And being selected in the second year as one of the ventures of SheEO, this whole group of women was showing up saying like, we selected you, we believe in you, we want you to be successful, how can we help? And that makes everything possible. And then everything changes. Everything that you can contribute in this network, being part of the network, everything changes. And my business is not just my business, it's being part of the whole ecosystem that we co-create with each other.
Thanks, B. Minister, you have a really unique title, which I have not heard in any other government. So the Minister of Small Business, Export Promotion, and International Trade. And I imagine you sitting around the table, at the cabinet table, talking about policy that needs to happen when 98% of our economy is small and medium-sized business. And all we ever hear about in the news is let's find the next unicorn and where's the next billion-dollar thing, and that's what we pay attention to. And you have this amazing title that we wish every economic development minister globally would have, recognizing the power of small business when it's aggregated together. So one of the things I want to ask you, because I'm sure it's hard to change that narrative around, and it's what we're doing with SheEO too, the mindset shift. How can we help you to get that narrative out there? And how can we make this a title that exists all over the world? Because you're the first with this, and we'd love to see so much more of it.
Well, that's terrific. And I do think it's interesting because as I attend a range of these multilateral sort of type meetings, right? I mean, so whether it's at APEC or the World Trade Organization or, at the G20, I mean, one of the things that we are hearing, particularly right now in COVID, is how important it is for us to support our people, to keep them safe, but also to support our businesses, particularly the small businesses who are most hard hit. Every international forum that I have been at, even before COVID-19, put a real emphasis and a real emphasis on how to create opportunities for small and medium-sized businesses to achieve prosperity in what they do. So it is that need is absolutely there, because it isn't only Canada where our small businesses are 98%, but if you take small and medium-sized businesses, it's 99% of all our businesses. Now, my title does not fit on my business card. So if you get my business card, you can't read it because it also has Braille. So in addition to the Braille plus the title, it just doesn't fit you. So you can't read it, but it is incredibly exciting and incredibly impactful, because my sole job is to help businesses start up, scale up, and to access new markets. And just to give you sort of a context of what that really means here in Canada, Canada has access to like almost 60% of the world's economy. Like, we're the only G7 country that has a free trade agreement with every other G7 country. Every business that is here is probably a part of some kind of bilateral trade relationship or agreement with us. And so having this portfolio allows me to take the very enormous resources of the federal government that's within my mandate now, because of both small business and international trade. And what I've created is what I call the trade toolbox. And there are many really terrific tools in this toolbox, helping our businesses get access to capital, helping businesses sort of navigate through the mirage of the issues they need to penetrate into a market, make sure that they get export development financing, but have the supportive mechanisms like this innovative ecosystem for women entrepreneurs, doing something very similar for Indigenous peoples, we just launched the very first Black Entrepreneurship program, which I'm just so super excited about. And, you know, and supporting young entrepreneurs, LGBTQ entrepreneurs. So this is actually not only about where you trade, which is, you know, all of these great trade agreements, or in what sectors or sort of what kind of business, but it's actually about who trades and who gets and who grows. And the answer to that is that in order to accrue prosperity to our people, it's got to be inclusive and it's got to include everyone. So, so what can you do? You can talk to people about what we are doing, and that we also want to collaborate, and that we want to steadfastly work with our colleagues across the globe. Some of the work that we're doing, particularly through the pandemic, is to make sure that things like critical things like food and medical supplies are not subject to export restrictions, and to make sure that those supply chains continue to flow with ease. And the way we do that is through collaboration. I mean, two of you know, so whether it is my colleague in Australia or New Zealand, or you know, or anywhere, I mean, we spend a lot of time working together, but but putting the two together just means that I have a bigger toolbox, and putting that toolbox to work for our Canadian businesses, and to make sure that as businesses grow, that growth yields benefits to people, and all of our people.
Great. Well, we've been actually really enjoying these virtual trade missions too. What a great thing to do. So we have Christine Nakamura with us here today from the Asia Pacific Foundation, and we all went to South Korea a couple of weeks ago, which was amazing. And so it's incredible to get out to the world in different ways. And thank you so much for joining us today. Really appreciate that. This is not a narrative and an open channel that existed before between women entrepreneurs and the government. So we've been very, very thankful for that impact that you're having and for your ear. And B, I want to just go to you, and then we're going to go to breakouts. You pay everyone on your team a living wage. You talk about your company as a family. You talk about and you not just talk about, you are supporting others in the community in many, many different ways. I won't embarrass you with some of the things you're doing because I know you're humble. But one of the things that you did on the 16th of March, when we had all the ventures online, I just get a little verklempt each time I think about this, is when, you know, some of our ventures were really struggling in the first few days of COVID, when everything had changed for them. And you sort of took up this space. I feel like you turned into this like 800-foot tall being on Zoom and said, what if no one went down? What if we all could take and support each other's businesses? And it created this sort of like ripple out in the community. And it's created a reality for us that no one has gone down, and we have all been supporting each other. Can you just talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, and I might get emotional too, because it was, I'm looking at Hannah. That was the first call that we had with each other after the lockdown. I was with my mom in the Netherlands, and I felt far away from Canada. And I wasn't, because I was on that call. And what happened on that call is that Hannah, who's here, just wave, Hannah. And Hannah, you were checking, Vicky, with all the ventures, like, where are we? Are we in the green? Are we okay? Are we yellow, orangey? Are we sort of, what's happening? Or are we in the red, that we just lose all our customers? Because Hannah used to happen to be in the business where the restaurants and hotels just overnight stopped being her customer. And she said at that moment, in tears, like, I have to lay off my people. How can I lay off my people? There are people at risk of homelessness. And I felt at that moment that I had to lay off my own people, because that's what happened if you're in a relationship with each other here in SheEO. And with that comment, and what I felt at that moment was like, we are a huge company that happened to have all little ventures, but I am in relationship with everybody. And so I said to Hannah, what do you need? And we paid Hannah's payroll, because what if we just show up for each other and we don't need to go, you know, explore how we can lay our people off, explore how we can get help to go bankrupt, because that was the narrative, the narrative right after the lockdown. Like, you can get a consultant to help you go bankrupt. You can, you know, and I was like, how crazy is that? In the time of COVID that we locked down, we need to all stay employed because we're needed here. We do the work that is needed. So yes, I said that. What if we just show up for each other? And I see money as nutrients. So for me, I was like, I had a good year. We had a really good year with Yalinker. So I have nutrients in the bank. If I see somebody who needs the nutrients and I have more than I need at the moment, then it's criminal to sit on your nutrients. So we shared a lot of nutrients around the network in that whole feeling of like, what if we come out of this together and we didn't have to lay off anybody and nobody went bankrupt. And so we changed the whole narrative and like, what if we dream into what's possible, living in abundance? Scarcity is a complete control mechanism. And as long as we're in scarcity, we can't see what is possible. We can't imagine into what we can be together if we are in abundance. So, and that's who we are in this community. This is living in abundance. We have literally everything available between us, what we need, literally.
We sure do.
Right?
Yep. Now we get to go practice it in a room.
You know, Vicky, can
awesome.
I just add to that for a second? You know, without giving away cabinet confidence, I mean, that's the conversation we had to, right? It is, what do we do as a country to help our people? So when you lock down, the first thing you need to do was make sure that people could do that and not have to worry about putting food on their table, right, or having a roof over their head. And for businesses, it is, what can we do to make sure that they get what they need to just bridge through to the light at the end of the tunnel. And I hope that we are seeing that light because there's some viability on vaccine. But, you know, helping people with a wage subsidy so that employers, these businesses, have some help to keep their people on payroll, helping with some of those fixed costs like rent so that you could get through, and just getting some, you know, sort of some liquidity support in a small business, you know, in a small business loan. It's that same idea and that same premise, because this is a crisis that I don't think we have seen in our generation. And I think the cost of not doing this would be far greater to all of us in this country. So it's really interesting that you know, that in this, well, it's not interesting. It's not surprising to me at all. I mean, this is the ethos of you know, this is the ethos of SheEO. But I would also say it's the ethos of this government. So, anyways, it's really neat. I mean, you know, to sort of you know, to think about it that way. I didn't quite think about it the way that you said it so eloquently, B. But that is the same premise.
And going back to that one comment that you said.
Sorry, can I? I'm sorry. I know you too. Like, there's so many. We need to get to rooms because we have a lot of people on today, almost 200 people. I also just want to say that we dropped online today an amazing gift guide for the holidays. Woohoo! So please use your buying power to support women entrepreneurs. It's in the chat right there. We'll show it again at the end. But over to you, Chenny. We're going to go to breakouts.
All right. Thank you, Vicky, Minister Ng, and B for that inspiring conversation. So these Ask Give breakouts, the infamous Ask Gives. I will start by saying that if you have difficulty making an ask or a give, I would lean into that discomfort. This is a safe place to practice. So what we're going to do is we're going to break out into smaller groups and practice radical generosity. The questions that we'd love for you to reflect on are: 1, what do you need help with? And 2, what support would you like to offer? And for any guests on this call today, this is also a great opportunity to ask any questions you might have about activating or applying as a venture. We will come back together in about 20 minutes. And when we do, we'd love for each group to come back with a 3-word summary of your conversation that we will then share in the chat. All right, with that, over to you, Caitlin.
Jessie here. Thanks, Chan.
Sorry,
So we're
Jessie.
going to have 23 breakout groups. So the groups will be about 8 or 9. As Chenny mentioned, we'll do exactly 20 minutes. So for facilitators, they are a little bit bigger today. I might recommend setting a timer and giving 2 minutes to each person. So we will open up to the rooms now. Enjoy your breakout group. We'll see you back here soon.
Thank you, thank you. All right, everyone. I hope you enjoyed that. I know I certainly did. I find these breakouts always so inspiring and moving. So what I would encourage you to do is, if you're group remembered, and if not, just pick your 3 words. If you could pop in 3 words into the chat about as a summary of your conversation, please feel free to go ahead and do that now. All right. So it looks like we have a lot of community, connections, generosity, hope. Oh, love it. Supported, grateful, vulnerability. Yes, I hear that. We had a few tears on our call. Giving, informative, change. Yes, amplification. I love it. Perfect. Thank you, everyone, for sharing. And actually, Minister Ng, I'd love to ask you, how was that experience for you?
I thought that experience was terrific. I mean, I always knew that this was what took place, and is what makes it so special in the community of radical generosity, and the ability to convene everyone to ask and give, and that people are genuine in both the asking and the giving, no matter how large or small. And it is truly it's a truly wonderful experience to be a part of that, and to see the openness and to see that generosity. And remember, the other thing that actually it struck me too is that asking is not easy to do for women. So you may be on that part where you can give, but that asking takes courage too. And of the asks that were in the session I was in, it was remarkable. So have the courage to ask, and I just want to thank all of you for your terrific contributions here, and I do think that this is going to change the world.
Thank you for coming, and thank you everyone for your openness and your vulnerability and your change-making awesomeness. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jessie, who's going to conduct a quick poll. We also have a feedback form, and of course, group photos. So over to you, Jessie.
Thanks, Jenny, and thanks for your enthusiasm about the photos. So a couple of things. The first, as Jenny mentioned, we're going to launch a quick poll. SheEO is a global community of women. We're working on the world's to-do list. If you're interested in getting involved, especially for all those guests who are joining for the first time, we have a few questions for you. The first is, are you interested in becoming an activator? So joining us in this community. If you're new, check off the option, become an activator if you'd like to. And for existing activators, let us know if you're interested in reactivating. The second question is, did you meet women today in your breakout group that you'd like to keep in touch with? And the third question is, for guests who have questions about activating, maybe this is your very first touch point with SheEO, let us know if you'd like to connect one-on-one with an existing activator, and we'd be happy to get that set up for you. So with that, I also wanted to share my screen and give you an idea of what it looks like when you sign up as an activator. So Caitlin's going to share the link in the chat for the sign up link. So it's community.sheeo.world/signup. And when you go here, you'll first read the credo, which really embodies what our community is all about. And some of this we already practiced today. If you need something, ask. If you have something to give, please offer it. We are all at different stages and ages, and we come from different experiences. Here with our sleeves rolled up, ready to support one another. So that is the credo, and then you'll be invited to share your name and your email address. From there, you will receive an email to verify that it is indeed you, and then click on the button in that link, in that email, to complete your activator profile and select your payment option. So as an activator, there are 3 ways to pay. One is monthly payments of $92. The second is one-time $1,100. And the third is annual auto renewal. And now that we are doing virtual events in our virtual world, activating is truly easier than ever before. In pre-COVID, we would do a lot of cocktail events, and it'd be very difficult to, everyone's having conversation and networking. So now we're all already on our computers. So if you're interested in activating, Caitlin will share the link in the chat, and it's super easy to sign up. And as soon as you activate, you will immediately gain access to the amazing SheEO community, including women who you met today. We have weekly activator support calls. We have an online community. We have an ask and give platform. So just like what we did in Breakouts, but on an online platform that you can access anytime. And the last thing I want to share is that becoming an activator is on your own terms. So you can be as involved as you'd like, up to you. And simply by contributing money to the Perpetual Fund for Women Entrepreneurs, you can support incredible women like Chenny, like Bee, and have a huge impact. So with that, the final two things. One is we'd love to hear your feedback on today's event, our special event for International Women's Entrepreneurship Day. And the last is if the Ask and Give breakouts were infamous, this is certainly infamous as well. We're gonna do our group photo. So let's see, when I go full screen, we have 7 screens of radically generous women. So I'm gonna ask you to hold and strike a pose on how you're feeling at the end of this call. And we will take a number of group photos. So if you're on the first screen, the thing is you can't really tell, so I would suggest holding up the pose 7 times. 1, 2, 3. Keep those hands up. And then the second screen, 1, 2, 3. Gotta do these ones twice. And the third screen, 1, 2, 3, beautiful smiling faces. And the fourth screen, on this screen we have Maggie, Megan, Beth, Laura, Hannah. 1, 2, 3. And the fifth screen, so 3 left to go. 1, 2, 3. Let's see that energy. Only 2 more. On this one, we have guests from Singapore, Canada, New Zealand. 1, 2, 3. Woohoo! And the final screen. Thanks, everyone. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. And passing it back to Chenny.
Thank you everyone for coming and showing up as your full self. As an venture and SheEO venture and activator, I would encourage everyone on this call to activate if you haven't already. It is truly a life-changing experience, and you can have access to this incredible community. Honestly, it's the best $92 you're going to spend. Thanks again for joining. Take care now.
If anyone would like to save the chat, please go into the chat. There's 3 dots on the bottom right. And I know there's a lot of activity going on here, so please click to save chat, and you can have all the wonderful data that has been shared saved to your computer. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks, Melanie.
Yep.
Happy International Women's Entrepreneurship Day, everyone.
Thank you. Ciao.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you, Mary. Bye-bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Are you
everyone? Bye.